Hello? Is it safe to come out yet?
What is up, you guys? I'm Cody, and life as a musician just changed. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that coronavirus is going around, and this is drastically going to change how we go about our day-to-day life as musicians, and we're going to need to find a way to adapt right away. Now, I've spent all morning reading articles and watching videos on how coronavirus is changing the entire economy, and it's definitely having an effect on the music industry. And this isn't something that I see being a short-term thing either. This is going to last at least the rest of the year, if not into 2021 and 2022. So as musicians, we need to make sure that we start taking the right steps in order to be successful down the line. Now, the first step you should be taking as a musician is smashing the subscribe button down below so that you don't miss out on any great content. Okay, but seriously, what is coronavirus and what's going on with it? How's this affecting us? Now, this whole virus thing is actually called COVID-19. And what COVID-19 is it's a type of coronavirus disease. Now, a coronavirus isn't a new thing to us. We've seen it before in the past in the form of SARS back in 2002, but there's now a new strain and we don't have a vaccine for it. It started off in China and it's been slowly spreading across the entire world, leaving many countries and people in quarantine. As of filming this, there's been over 130,000 confirmed coronavirus cases with just about 5,000 deaths. This is certainly no small thing and it's not going away anytime soon. This has been impacting the world in so many different ways. Just as an example, there's over 1,000 passengers quarantined right now on a Grand Princess cruise. Italy has just shut down basically the entire country, and you can see here Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte. Is that how you say that? Giuseppe Conte? Giuseppe, if anybody knows Italian, let me know, that's a cool name. So anyways, my boy Giuseppe is closing down all shops in the country except for the essentials like grocery stores, pharmacies, and a few other, until March 25th. I just watched an interview with Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, and the NBA season just got suspended. And shortly after that, the NHL said that they would suspend the rest of the season because of the coronavirus. Now, this has already done terrible things to the economy, and it's only looking worse. Economists are saying a recession's right around the corner. Some are even saying that it's already begun. The stock market has been absolutely crushed this past month, with the Dow Jones, which tracks basically the largest 30 companies in the United States, being down 25%. And Trump just banned travel from Europe to the United States. Now, obviously, from a macroeconomic standpoint, this is not good. I mean, the entire country of Italy is shut down. Like, just think about that. An entire country is shut down. Like, that is just nuts to me. But what impact is this going to have on the music industry, and more importantly, you as a musician? I found an article on CNN today with a huge list of music festivals that have been postponed and canceled due to the coronavirus. Coachella has announced that they're going to have to postpone the festival, possibly till October, but that's not confirmed. South by Southwest Music Festival in Austin, Texas has been canceled. It was supposed to be running this week, and that's a real big one for the music industry. There's a lot of smaller up-and-coming artists who have lost out on flights, hotels, and just a ton of money because of this. Not to mention the city of Austin alone. I don't know if you've ever been to Austin, but it's a beautiful city. It's arguably one of my favorite cities in the United States. I absolutely love it. And all these small venues and all these companies who have invested a ton of time and money aren't getting anything back. And for the most part, insurance isn't covering any of this. So there's a huge loss there. Miami's Ultra Music Festival has been postponed until next year. They are luckily offering refunds, unlike South by Southwest. And I'm sure this is just the beginning of music festivals be canceled. There was more on that list, a ton that I didn't know. As the year goes on and as we get closer to a lot of these festivals, I can't really see them happening. I mean, being in groups of people isn't the right thing to do right now. That's what the government's avoiding you do. So music festivals really aren't a great place for people to be, so I could see most of these being canceled by the end of the year. Now, not only are music festivals being hurt, but individual artist concerts are being hurt as well. Justin Bieber just announced that his massive stadium tour, which by the way, I was kind of thinking about going to see. I think the production on it's going to be absolutely massive. But anyways, a lot of these stadium shows are now going to be in smaller arenas because the tickets just haven't been selling. Now, Perez Hilton did just call him out on Twitter, saying that he's blaming the illness and that his ticket sales weren't going to do very well anyways. I don't know. Tough to say, but an interesting take on that. Massive K-pop band BTS just announced that they're going to scrap their April 11th date in Korea. Green Day has canceled Asian stops on their Hella Mega tour. Madonna canceled her shows in Paris. Mariah Carey postponed her shows in Hawaii. Miley Cyrus pulled the plug on her Australian dates. Pearl Jam says they're not going to be touring this year, and the list goes on. Now, a lot of these are international shows outside of North America, but I think this is just the start. This coronavirus doesn't seem like it's spreading too fast in the United States just yet, but if it does, I think all of the shows on these tours are going to get pulled. Green Day's going to cancel the rest of that tour. Justin Bieber's going to have to cancel his tour. Everybody's going to have to cancel their shows because it's just not safe to have 30,000 people crammed into a room together. Now, do you think these music festivals and artists are making the right decision by pulling the plug on these shows? Let me know what you think in the comments below. So, what does this mean for us artists? Well, we're really going to have to rethink the way we go about our year. As I mentioned, nobody really knows how long this is going to last. There's no vaccine for it at the moment. It's already taking a huge toll on the economy and the music industry, and it's definitely going to affect us as smaller musicians. The first step I think we're going to need to do is reevaluate our plan. Whether you're planning on going out on tour or you're being in studio or you're going to shoot a music video, I really think this is a great time to reevaluate everything, and reevaluating a plan doesn't even have to be a bad thing. It's a good thing to think about every once in a while anyways. You should look at this as an opportunity to reassess your next year or your next 2 years or maybe even your next 5 years and really think about the most strategical way to approach what's going on right now. Touring seems like it's going to be a bit of an issue. For me as a musician, we tend to always go out on the road during the summer. Last summer I spent 4 months on tour and then came back home in November, and I haven't been out on the road since. Now, I had been planning a lot throughout the summer and into the fall in terms of tours, but I don't know if any of that's going to be able to go through. Now, that doesn't mean that you should just give up all your thoughts on touring and pull the plug on everything right now, but you're really going to have to think about how you do it and be strategic about it. As a Canadian musician who tours the United States, what if the border gets shut down for a little bit and I have a tour planned? That's definitely something to keep in mind, and you need to have a backup plan just in case something crazy like this does happen. Not to mention your own personal health. Going out on the road is so tolling as a musician as it is. Playing a show every single night, staying up late, waking up early and driving, it takes a toll on the body. I fight it as much as I can, but I often get sick on tour. Now, not every time, but you gotta think, you're out there interacting with people, handling money, you're in divey bars sometime and it's not always the cleanest place. You're contained to a van with the same 4, 5, 6 people, and as soon as someone gets something, it spreads so fast. And this just makes you more vulnerable to get any kind of disease or virus that is out there. So you gotta make sure you look after yourself first. Now, in terms of recording, this is something else to think about as well. I know personally, we don't record locally. Our last record we did in Toronto, but we've had thoughts of going elsewhere, maybe to Chicago or to LA or to Vancouver to do a record. There's a ton of options, and traveling doesn't seem to be the right thing to do right now. So maybe you're going to rethink when you're going into studio or how you're going to do it. It's becoming increasingly easy to write and produce music over the internet just through a voice chat. And this is an alternative you might want to consider if you want to go work with a high-level producer, but don't necessarily know if you should be booking time and flights out of the country or out of your state to go work with these producers. Now, I also think this is going to have a massive trickle-down effect to local shows. Obviously, a lot of these artists are canceling shows, and if they do end up canceling North America dates, then a lot of these shows might not be coming to your local scene. And this is going to take playing opportunities away from you. You're no longer going to be able to get on these bigger shows and play in front of 1,000 people in your hometown. Plus, you're not going to get to see your favorite artists when they roll through. Boo. So I think now's the time to pull a Billie Eilish, turn your bedroom into a home studio, and don't leave the house for the rest of the year. Just kidding. But in all seriousness, we are going to rethink how we go about the rest of the year and develop a bit better of a plan with how to cope with this situation. Nobody knows when it's going to be over or how long it's going to last, and we're kind of just going to have to play it by ear and see how things go. Now, I haven't quite figured out my plan for the long term and the rest of the year, but I know for the time being, a great thing that you can do is be on social media, be super active, try to grow those followers, be engaging with new people that you might not have had the chance to before. This is going to give you a ton of time to just hang out at home and really interact with your crowd and try to build your following so that when you are able to go out there on the road or when you are able to go record music and put it out, that there's people there who are eagerly waiting to hear it. This is also a great opportunity to work on your songwriting. Now, I know you may already have a big catalog of songs that you're planning on going and recording or that you're working on demos for, but from personal experience, I find that every song that I write just gets a little bit better. And so the more songs that I write, they get just 1% better every time. So if you have a chance to sit down and write 10 or 20 songs, you're going to get 10 or 20% better at songwriting as you go. I think this is a great opportunity to just sit down and start writing new music. Who knows, you might come up with an even better song than what you had before. Now, in regards to what you have planned for the rest of the year, this is by no means me telling you to cancel it. If you have a tour booked, I'm not saying pull the plug at all. Nobody knows what's going to happen. This thing could be over in a month, although I highly doubt it. But that doesn't mean pull the plug on everything you're doing right now. Keep working hard, keep grinding it out, and we'll see what's to come. Now, what are your thoughts on this whole coronavirus situation? What's your plans for the next month or the next year? Comment down below. I'm super curious to know. I still haven't totally figured out myself, so let's team up and work together on something. And as always, if you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like down below and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any more of my awesome videos. One thing you don't have to worry about the coronavirus is you're still gonna have coffee, so it's cool, man. It's all good. Peace. Have a good one.